Thanks for staying with me. So as I mentioned, we are going to go through some specific energy clearings now and then undertake a assimilation meditation, right? We might be an hour or so. I hope that fits in with your schedule. I think it's definitely worthwhile doing, right? So I'm just going to talk you through a visualization just to get your mind and energies harmonized, to get our collective field harmonized with the energies of the earth so that we can get the most benefit and impact from this process. So this is called an energy field preparation for those that haven't heard of it before. And what I'll get you to do is just close your eyes for now, and I'll guide you through a process. So begin to slow down your breathing. Taking deep diaphragmatic breaths. That is breathing all the way down to the depths of your belly and then all the way out in a cyclical or circular fashion through which you are offering the in-breath to the out-breath and the out-breath to the in-breath. So it's a continuous, seamless flow of deep belly breathing, right? Begin to let go of all and any tension that you're feeling in your body. And next, what I'll get you to do is to visualize with your eyes closed a pale silver sphere of light in your frontal lobe there. See it as a ball of pale silver light. This is a combination of the color tones of the 12th and 11th dimensional frequency bands, and it is a carrier wave frequency for your consciousness. So next, what I'll get you to do is to inhale whilst visualizing that pale silver orb. And as you exhale, breathe it down and see it moving down from your third eye, your frontal lobe, down through your throat and descending down into your heart space, so you can see it resting at the center of your heart. Pale silver orb. Now breathe into the orb. And as you do so, breathe in feelings of gratitude, of joyfulness, so positive associated emotions, love, anything that you can associate that with, to feel grateful for, to bring up that positive mood, that positive feeling state, and breathe that energy into the orb. And as the pale silver orb begins to grow with the light that you're sending into it, just notice that it's taking on increasingly a golden tone. And as you continue to breathe, just notice that now golden orb, as it begins to become brighter and brighter, is actually expanding. And as it expands, it's growing larger in diameter as the orb moves outwardly until it's reached the entire chest space and continues to grow and expand as you breathe more of that light, that joyful, gratitude-filled light It continues to expand out past the shoulders. It's moving down at the bottom periphery, out past your sacral area, out above the head, top of the head, as it continues to expand further and enlarging. And notice that it's taking on the form of an egg type shape. Continue to breathe into that golden, now luminous egg, spherical shape that is morphing to contain your entire body. So continue to expand it with the will and with the breath of your own light as breathe through from your heart space until it entirely contains your body. And this is a protective field frequency that will sanctify this process and keep any external interference or energies from disrupting it, right? So set your intent there to set that tone, that frequency field around you for the duration of this meditation, at least and beyond. And next, what I'll get you to do is, once again, visualize a pale silver orb in your frontal lobe. Inhale, and then once again, breathe down into the heart space. This time, breathe into that pale silver orb, and this time you're breathing all the love that you have and gratitude toward creation for all of the physical things that you have in your life. Ultimately, toward the earth for all that has been supplied. It could be your house, your things, the structures of your business. Of course, your body is one thing, isn't it? The form of your friends and family. So all of the physical reality that we have around us, there's a lot to be grateful for, isn't there? So continue to breathe and just notice that orb is taking on color tones now of a rose pink light, pale silver rose pink light. Now next, what I'll get you to do is to inhale, and as you exhale, use the power of your breath to breathe it forcefully out through the bottom of your feet and visualize the sphere traveling all the way to the Earth's core now. Now continue to breathe with your intent and focus at the Earth's core, and notice that the pale silver rose pink orb is taking on increasingly more powerful tones of this rose pink, ruby rose pink light, which is the light of the third ray, which is known as the divine feminine ray. As you breathe into the orb, you're noticing that it's becoming ever more luminescent, ever more charged with this rose pink light. As you continue to send gratitude, positive, loving vibrations into it. So next, what I'll get you to do is to inhale and draw that orb all the way up from the earth core back through the base of your feet and back up into your heart space when you're ready. And just notice as you breathe that there is a trail of rose pink light coming after the orb, connecting you directly with the earth's core through the bottom of the feet, all the way up through your legs, your base energy center, as it were, your sacral, solar plexus, and into the heart space, where there is now a channel of energy that is flowing. And as this rose pink light continues to flow from the earth core into your heart space, it is now permeating and penetrating into your energy field. You can feel it permeating into all cellular structures, all organs, muscles, tissues, every molecule of every element within your body, and all atoms, all particles and waveforms that make up your body form is being permeated by this rose pink light. All right, next I'll bring your attention back to your frontal lobe, where I'll get you to visualize just one more pale silver orb. And again, inhale and breathe that orb down into your heart space again, which is now luminescent with that radiant rose pink light. But this time, as you breathe, I'd like you to breathe all gratitude, love, and appreciation for all of the non-physical things in your life, that which is intangible, that which you can't put your finger on, but that is happening, perhaps behind the scenes, to arrange this physical world that we have, and ultimately, of course, the infinite intelligence behind the creation of the universe, and how fortunate that we are able to experience this in such an incredible diversity and interest right now. So breathing your gratitude into that orb. And next I'll get you to inhale, and this time exhale, and as you do so, drive the orb out the top of your head all the way to visualize a blue star in deep space. Where you go. So this blue star represents symbolically not only your morphogenetic galactic energy centers, but also your connection to what some would refer to as heaven, or we could say spirit power, that transcendental consciousness that we all are ultimately at the highest level, and yet higher levels of awareness appear to exist beyond our own current state of view. So sending all your love and appreciation toward that higher awareness that is contributing, and I have cited many examples of that in the webinar today, to our experience here on earth. And notice that the orb is now taking on tones of royal blue light, beginning to become evanescent in its glow of white and blue, as it becomes more luminous in its intensity. Now, inhale, exhale one more time, and then the next time you inhale, inhale and draw with the power of that inhale, that now royal blue orb all the way down from that blue star in deep space, all the way down through the top of your head into your heart space. And notice that a trailing blue channel of light is coming down from that blue star all the way down through your crown, 1,000-petaled lotus as it were, the energy center with 1,000 light rays, symbolic of that higher connection with infinite intelligence. And notice that as the blue light is streaming into the heart space and merging with the ascending rose pink light from the earth core, that these are merging together and swirling through your energy system, through all energy centers, through your auric field, through your entire body in all ways, shapes and form. And of course, as it does this, it is merging into a violet hue, a mixture of the rose pink and the royal blue, and that this is referred to as the violet flame of transmutation and freedom. I'm now going to give a command invocation for higher assistance. Set your intent to receive it. We humbly call upon the violet power of transmutation and freedom, establishing the sacred link with the great white brotherhood and sisterhood of light, and the violet brotherhood and sisterhood of the Avatar and Rishi lineages. We now call upon all assistance and grace available to us in this now for the purposes of clearing all energetic distortions that shall be targeted in relation to what has been discussed, not only for all participants of this webinar, but for all friends, all family and loved ones associated with each person in the best way possible for them, in alignment with their free will and higher selves. So be it. All right then, so we're going to move on to a bit more of a practical approach to this self-clearing, a bit more specificity involved, right? Now, those that are part of the Lightning Path program will be aware of this code, and I had described exactly how it was that this code was created. For those that are not aware, it has much subliminal, subconscious programming encoded into the code, both ancient and contemporary, vocal and also visual, worded as well. It is all coded in there, and so that the subconscious mind is going to pick up all that as we use it. It is done for a specific purpose, and that the purpose is specifically for the processes of transmuting old energies that no longer serve us. And so the first clearing that we're going to do here is for that which is listed below, the discord, conflict, resistance, cognitive dissonance, and fear, as it is highly pertinent, right? So what I'll get you to do is steer into the center of this code, and I don't have time to go over the mechanics of Keylontic morphogenetic science and optical pineal induction right now, so you'll just need to go on faith right now that this is going to create a beneficial effect, and the more that you flow with that and open yourself to that, the greater that benefit will occur. So steering into the center of this code, and next what I'll get you to do is inhale, and as you do, use your intent. As you inhale, draw the code through your frontal lobe and into the center of your brain, to your pineal gland, your sixth seal, your psychic center, and then see it holographically re-represented in all of your energy centers, from the crown to the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, sacral, and coccygeal, or base chakras, as it were. And begin to feel a resonance with this while I give the energy transmutation command. Set your intent to release all associated energies. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation, and renewal code be used to permanently clear the source of all discord, conflict, resistance, cognitive dissonance, and fear that can be cleared for each person here and all of their friends, family, and loved ones in alignment with their higher self in the best way possible for each person involved. Now, Ta Isha Intadoi. Now, those that have learned to monitor the quantum changes through the palm signature, you can, of course, monitor this, and it's extremely heavy. It's very tangible. For those unfamiliar with that, if you simply allow your hand to rest, perhaps with your elbow, your left elbow on your knee or the arm of the chair, so that your palm is facing down, you'll be able to feel as we do these clearings that the energies activate in the palm, the receiving chakra of the left hand there, and that as the quantum changes take place, there is an energy wave that moves from the fingertips down underneath the palm and toward the wrist. There's one way that you'll be able to tangibly sense these changes taking place. Another way is that you'll simply feel the energies activated within the palm, and that may feel like a buzzing, tingling sensation. And that as the energies clear, you'll feel that that goes quiet, it calms down and becomes neutralized again. So we're working here on the deep quantum anatomy, the light body, we could say, and that is the blueprint through which your body, your physical body, manifests. So we're working on the core genetic template level with these most primal of energies. So that clearing is just starting to subside now. You can feel the palm is starting to go quiet. It's lessening off. It's less intense. Just remember to breathe there. And as you breathe, just imagine that you are inhaling new energy, refreshing, reviving the body. And as you exhale, you're letting go of that which is no longer needed, that which no longer serves. And this is the process of healing taking place. So I'll get you to, when you're ready, bring your eyes back outwardly again. We're going to go a little bit with this inward, outward, as we move through this process. So as you can imagine, just as you might do a spring clean in your house and clear out all the cupboards, get rid of all the things that you don't need, that's what we're doing right now energetically, is to remove the energy that is just a clutter in our energy body. It's no longer serving us, it's holding us down. And so the best thing to do, right, is to replace that space. Well, not necessarily, but in this instance, I like to declutter myself and remain that way. But in this instance, we have the opportunity in the space of the genetic code to replace that with new light codes, new conscious awareness from your higher self, so that deeper realizations and wisdom can set in. So this is what this next code is for. And so I'll get you once again to steer into the center of this code. And then just as before, inhale the code, drawing it through your frontal lobe into the sixth seal, the pineal gland at the center of the brain, and feel it holographically replicated through your energy centers, your chakra system and energy body. Feel it merging with your auric field as I give the command. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be used to facilitate a download of new neural cords, new soul templates and higher programming from the higher self of each person here and those that would receive this healing in the best way possible for them, in alignment with their higher soul process now. Ta Asia and Tadoi. So once again, you can monitor the activation take place in the palm signature. This is pretty intense too. You may be able to feel a lot of magnetic energy in your hand, almost as if you're pushing against an invisible balloon or something. That's what magnetic energy feels like. A lot of people have never experienced that, and so that they don't understand the concept of chi and prana and all these words, ki, and so that they are naturally skeptical in relation to this, right? But the good news is that you don't have to be able to feel it to benefit from it. If you're going to block your mind off from it, well, that's an unfortunate thing. You do have a free will choice to block that. No one's going to interfere with your free will, no one at least conscious. But it's not a very smart move, is it? If we can recode our system and enhance it and upgrade it, that is a good thing to do. So that download is just subsiding now. You'll notice that magnetic feeling has begun to reduce and neutralize. And if you want to just reset the palm and fingers, just try rubbing your thumb across the fingertips there. If you want to have a nice clean template for the next clearing as well, right? So, next one, looking into the center of this code once again. And I'm going to send you all these codes, both of these codes also, by the way. Anyone that's on the webinar right now, as I mentioned, I'll send them to you so you can use them yourself if you wish. So breathing into the code, inhale, again, drawing it through the frontal lobe into the center of the brain. Feel it merging with your energy body through all the chakras and auric field. Feeling into that energetic state as I give the transmutation command. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation and renewal code be used to permanently clear the source of all self-sabotage, any feelings of overwhelm, any confusions and procrastinations that anyone here or any friends, family and loved ones associated with them has been experiencing in the best way possible for them in alignment with their free will and higher self now. Ta Asia and Tadoi. Just continuing to breathe there, remembering as you inhale, you're breathing in new light, reviving fresh healing waters like ozone to the forest. And as you exhale, you are eliminating, letting go, and releasing all and any discordant, disharmonious, disconnected energy that you no longer need, that no longer serves your highest evolution and progress. Still a bit of activity in the palm and the fingers there, indicating the transmutation continues, but it's beginning to settle just now. All right, now bringing your awareness back outwardly again, back into the center of the golden code there, and we'll once again focus and then inhale as you draw it through the frontal lobe again, the center of the brain, the pineal, feel it replicated through the chakra system, merging with the auric field as I give the download command. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be used to facilitate a download of new neural cords, new soul templates, and new soul programming in alignment with that which was just cleared in the previous clearing, to replace all frequencies and vibrations with new higher light codes of a progressive, uplifting, and higher evolutionary operational order in the best way possible for each person involved, in alignment with their higher self now. Ta'esha and Tadoi. So those that are not familiar or a little baffled by the final utterance that I'm mentioning there, that Ta'esha and Tadoi is words spoken in Anuhasi, which is the first externally vocalized language in this universe, and that the sound tones resonate with the so-called petals or frequencies that each chakra resonates to, and so that as those tones are uttered, there is actually a corresponding vibration that is activated within the system, and the vibration that is activated means, as it is spoken, so it is. So that's quite an intense download. So much magnetic power coming up that it's actually pushing my hand up, away from the table that I'm resting it over. Needless to say, I think we have the Maharaji support. Considering that somewhat embarrassing incident earlier in the session. Of course, that might be perceived that way, but of course, no, of course I'm not embarrassed in any way. I'm just naturally and flowing in whichever state that I move into, whatever that is. I embrace that. I've learned to do that. Rejection's not a good state of being, you know. We learn and we gain the most by embracing that which is arriving in the now. And certainly in relation to the Maharaji, that is a significant blessing and grace indeed. So there's still a bit of movement going on in the palm there. So we'll give it a few more moments. And as that assimilation completes, just rubbing the thumb across the tip of your fingers there, if you're monitoring it. If you're not, just bringing your state back into a receptive awareness once again and focusing outwardly again into the center of the screen there. You'll see the code. And we'll give it the next one on this personal level and then move into some collective ones as well. So focusing into the center of this code once again, inhale, draw the code through the frontal lobe to the pineal gland and feel it reverberating holographically through all of your energy centers, energy body, auric field, etc. Surrender into the process, the subliminal coding. I assure you it is very, very benevolent, of the highest order. As I give the next command. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation, and renewal code be used to permanently clear the highest priority egotistical inhibitions from the core template energy body of all people here and all friends, family members, and loved ones associated with them in the most powerful, useful, and aligned way, in alignment with their higher self and divine soul purpose now. Ta Aisha Interdue. Yeah, so this one, there's a huge magnetic power moving with this one. So in relation to egotistical inhibitions, the ego has become a bad word, hasn't it, really? The ego. And that's just another example of our judging mind. But the reality is what the ego is, it's just a veiled consciousness, that's all. It is the contracted point of awareness that we perceive ourselves to be individuated from the rest of the environment, whereas in contradistinction, the Christ consciousness is our consciousness as merged with what we perceive to be outside of ourselves. And so that, as you imagine, then the barrier or the dividing line within our perception that causes us to perceive that there is an inside and an outside, there is an us and them, that begins to break down until we ultimately arrive at that place that enlightened masters have referred to as the Christ consciousness, that which is in unity with all of creation. And so, as you can imagine, the closer you get to that state of being, well, you're not really going to have any problems, are you? Because there's not going to be any conflict going on. Why would you be in conflict with yourself? It's a silly thing to do. You'd simply understand and harmoniously seek to assist that which is moving along its evolutionary process. So that is the nature of these benevolent guardian races and those highly enlightened individuals that have come upon the earth to show us this potential. Is they're simply showing us, aren't they? They're always telling us, pleading with us, stop fighting with each other, come back to peace. We're all one family, seek to help, show compassion to others. It's always these things being said, isn't it, by these enlightened masters, and the natural realizations that arise as that barrier of delusion or illusion breaks down, called the egotistical awareness. And you'll find that that's not a sudden thing that sort of pops into your mind like most people would expect, but it's a gradual onset thing. Still a bit of transmutation going on. We're going to give it a little longer as I continue to perhaps entertain you a little here with these ideas. But you'll note that as your energy body begins to expand, that this interconnection with all things becomes very evident, much to our inconvenience and frustration at times, because You can feel if someone's sick. You can feel if they're unwell. You can feel if they are upset and disturbed. You feel it within yourself. You know, I start getting like all hyperactive if I go past a coffee shop because everybody's drinking coffee in there, let alone going into a pub, right? So yeah, that's one upside, I suppose. You don't need to drink the substance to get high, although you can most certainly do that if you wish. One of the upsides of merging with the environment. Now that clearing is starting to subside, so once again bringing your attention into the golden code, and we'll facilitate one more level on the personal level before moving into those collective clearings. So focusing into the center of the code, draw it through the frontal lobe into the center of the brain, the pineal, and feel it resonating through your energy body as I give the command. It is commanded in the name of divine love that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be used to infuse each person here with new neural cords, new soul templates and programming in alignment with a higher operational order that would allow those egotistical inhibitions to permanently release and be replaced with new operational coding, new inspiration, new realizations that will free them from those previous limitations in the best way possible for all here involved and all family members, friends and loved ones associated with them, in alignment with their free will and current evolutionary process, in alignment with their higher self, now. Ta Aisha and Due. Now this one's, interestingly enough, a lot more electric in the palm. Not sure if you can feel that, but the electric sensations are sometimes more evident because they promote a tingling in the underside of the hand and the fingertips. And electricity, as it were, interestingly enough, is actually the process of consciousness incarnating into density. So that is a process called electrical projection. That is the process of consciousness and energy moving outward into creation. And so that is the process through which coding occurs into the body. It is also the process through which we can be encoded through the electromagnetic digital, the electrical media, right? The electrical media. So the magnetic technologies are yet to be released, aren't they? And we're hoping that's going to happen as that activation continues. It's quite intense electrically at about the mid-knuckle area here. Hopefully we'll see some of those so-called Tesla technologies coming forth, right? I think I saw a Tesla tower has been erected some part of the United States through which it can broadcast non-local electricity and energy, free energy, which has a different frequency too, by the way. You can have electrical energy that is encoded with a fallen frequency, which is associated with agenda and manipulation, and you can also have benevolent electrical energy. Some people get these confused. It's quite common that the benevolent, we could say the divine masculine electrical power, that's also a very directive power, you know. It's a very powerful leadership quality. It gets stuff done. It doesn't like to muck around. It can quite happily command. And so to that extent, people might misinterpret that as oppressive or bullying, because the fallen energy, it does that. It bullies, it oppresses, it demands, and it commands, but it does so in the name of tyranny. Whereas the divine masculine energy, the electrical transmission, is not a bullying transmission. It's simply a commanding transmission, likened to the energy moving through the plate in a plate resonance. It is simply a frequency that is organizing the grains of sand, as it were, that are our body, vehicle, and mind, into a higher alignment. And so it would be wise, we could say, to willfully align with that creative power of the universe. I, for one, would quite happily have infinite intelligence arrange my life, as opposed to my little ego, distorted and bent and twisted with its agendas. I would rather that just be washed away by a refreshing current of divine inspiration. And so that is really what is being received here, if you are open to that grace. Not received by me. I'm just facilitating that. Your higher self, your higher awareness already has intrinsically within it all of the awareness that we need. We only need to simply assimilate that. So my role here is just facilitator for your information. So that's the first half of the clearings. We're going to move into some collective energy clearings, and this time focus our efforts upon the planetary collective. So this time I would like you to help as well as you are able, right? Just put your heart and soul and intent into this, and we can have an impact on the entire planet. As I mentioned, that planetary grid that I showed you, that is just the surface grid. It moves right through the planet, all the way to the planetary core, at which we all share a central energetic vortice called the 13th chakra. Unsurprisingly, we all live on this planet, don't we? We also have a common point of union, and that is the center of the planet. So as we move through these, that is where we're going to focus our attention, right? So focusing into the center of this code, just if you haven't already, you can bring the front of your thumb through the fingertips there. Just neutralize any existing charge in your palm if you're wanting to read this clearing. It'll be a big one. So inhale the code into your frontal lobe. Exhale it down into your heart space and begin to breathe into it your own personal energy, your intent, your benevolent intent, your sincere intent to assist others to awaken to a higher awareness through which they can undertake their soul integration process and move along with this beautiful evolution that is occurring here on the planet right now. So as you merge your energies with that code, the next thing I'll get you to do is to inhale and then exhale the code down all the way out through the bottom of your feet to the earth core. Now. Now see the code with your energy and intent connected to that, like a lightning storm, like a Tesla ball with radiations of benevolent electrical and magnetic energy rippling outwardly through the earth to the surface, connecting to all towns and villages, all cities, all rural areas, all animals, and all forests, all oceans, and the inhabitants of all ecological zones, all intelligent life, connecting now with the code, with our intent, and with our energy as I give this command. Set your intent that the transmutation connects with all these things. It is commanded in the name of divine love and through the power of the violet light that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation, and renewal code be used to permanently clear the source of the highest priority racial karmic imprints that are inhibiting awakening for all people on this planet, in alignment with their free will and natural evolutionary process. in alignment with their higher selves in the best way possible for all involved now. Taisha and Tadue. So this one's like a wave rolling down. This one's definitely the most powerful one yet. So bearing in mind is that magnetic power increases. It's phenomenal. My hand is pulsating up and down with the power radiating from that one. And remember also that this webinar is being recorded. Didn't mention that to start with. Didn't want to discourage anyone from participating. I appreciate your help here, but just to let you know, it's a quantum energy healing, right? So that when this webinar goes up in digital form, is made available for the masses, it's a very few or small amount of people that have the awareness to participate in something like this right now. And further to that, I'm not someone that goes out into the streets shouting, everybody listen to me. I just get on with the work. So in that sense, I don't have a large following at this point in time, but as the timeline moves forward and as the awakening continues, what you'll find is that more and more people will begin to reach a wavelength of consciousness through which they recognize this work for what it is and they begin to participate. So this clearing is being done now. It is also being done in all future nows that any participant sees this webinar in digital recorded form, participates and add their energy into it. So you can just imagine the accumulating tidal wave of change that is really taking place as this transmutation is made manifest. And what that means for our future timeline, we just don't know. We just don't know the power of that impact. But this is said to be the way through which mountains can be moved in the twinkling of an eye. You little troopers, by the way, we've been through a massive amount of information. We're going through a massive clearing. We are going to do an assimilation meditation, which will probably be the most relaxing thing of all. And certainly, this is one of the reasons why not everybody's ready for this, isn't it? You need to have the degree of mental strength to sit through this with focus. Not everybody has that. This is a big session. Now that clearing, finally, starting to subside a little. There's still a bit going on there. But we're going to bring our attention outwardly once again. Just remember to breathe. Keep checking back in with your breathing and deep diaphragmatic breathing, circular flow, meeting the in-breath with the out-breath. Relaxing, exhaling that which is no longer needed, inhaling new light, new energy, reviving, restoring, activating qualities. So focusing into the center of this code, and once more, inhale it into your frontal lobe there. And this time we're going to exhale and just drive it all the way out through the bottom of the feet to the earth core once again. Setting your intent to reach all life forms on the planet as I give the command. It is commanded in the name of divine love and through the power of the golden light of wisdom that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be used and activated on all people on this planet in the best way possible for them, downloading new neural cords, new templates, and new soul programming in alignment with their higher self and free will, in the best way possible for them to awaken to the broader reality that is now occurring, and to enable them to catch the morphogenetic wave that is now crashing upon the surface of this planet. Now. Ta Asia and Tadoi. Getting a bit lightheaded with that one myself. So just notice the way that I'm wording that command, as it were, which we could equally say is an invitation, suggestion. There are different words we could use. And that the wording I'm using is being respectful, isn't it? And respectfully honouring the fact that not everybody is going to catch this wave, not everybody is ready, and not everybody, for all of those reasons listed previously, is ready to move on with this process. There are a lot of people that would rather die. They would rather pass away. So within that scope of awareness, we can be at peace and understand that death is not the end. It is not a bad thing. It is simply a portal. It is a process, and that some people that are actually highly evolved are choosing to pass away right now. And there are many reasons for that, and it's all reasonably speculative, isn't it? And it's all to a degree by faith of what we've read or heard through the so-called masters of spiritual traditions, etc. But many people believe that as we clean up this planet and we move through this transmutation process, that some have called the planetary ascension, some have called the event, as this planet transmutes and transfers, as heaven is made on earth, as has been told throughout history, through various spiritual traditions. Well, some people are just going to skip the line, and they just want to reincarnate as a baby on the new earth. So don't be worried, don't be concerned if some people are passing away right now. Well, maybe that's what they're choosing, right? Maybe their body is not suited to move through these changes and they want to start again afresh, so that's okay. We honour that process, and we also want to honour the process of those who want to take this march and walk through the process, and I'm one of them. I'm interested to see what we can do. So bringing your awareness into the centre of this code once again, and we'll move on to specifically those deep interferences associated with the APINs. That's the Atlantean Pylon Implant Network I mentioned, the Diotic Crystal Grid Network associated with Stonehenge and various subterranean crystalline selenite rod temple complexes that most people aren't aware of that hold massive frequency. Let's work with those now. The harp installation, which to my understanding have for the most part been taken back by the white hats and are under benevolent control, but also all and any media, programming, etc. Let us focus at the core of that and strike at the heart of the issue, as it were. Focusing into the center of this code, inhale and draw it into the pineal gland at the center of the brain. Exhale down into the heart space and really begin to breathe your love, your energy, your power and sincerity into that code. Empower it with our collective intent for all brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, daughters, uncles, aunties, sons, and all life forms to receive this clearing. Next, inhale. Exhale down to the center of the Earth's core. Now visualize and use your will and intent to holographically send that code not only from the Earth's core but to all of those primary 24 subterranean crystalline temple complex locations around the Earth. Send them to the energies surrounding the harp installations. Send them to all media stations that, by the way, work through electromagnetic energy, energies that we are working with now. Set your intent that it is all simply transmuted, broken down, and reattuned to a higher operational working order that is aligned with benevolence and freedom. As I give the command, it is commanded in the name of divine love and through the power of the violet light that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation, and renewal code be used to permanently clear all psychotronic neurobiological distortions that have been implemented by all APIN networks, all ALPIN networks, through any advanced hidden technologies such as HARP, media programming, the voice of God technologies, and all and any other artificial technologies that have interfered in human thought process and freedom, etc. That these distortions are cleared from the core template level of all people involved, from all people on the surface of this planet, all people within the planet, in subterranean locations, in alignment with their higher self and soul process, in the best way possible for them and all life on the planet now. Ta Asia Interdoi. Now we're really gaining some momentum here. And I'm very grateful that we are being divinely supported in this process, because I spent a lot of energy yesterday and somehow it's returned, and actually I feel like I'm gaining a lot of energy. There's benefits, we could say perks, to allowing yourself to be a conduit through which this universal intelligence flows. Certainly not to say that I am impeccable in every way. I make my mistakes, but I do my best to get my inhibitions out of the way and let that unlimited intelligence come forth and direct the process of my life, which is a highly recommended thing to do. Now, interestingly enough, I'm not finding that was in any way as deep and powerful as the previous clearing. And one of the reasons may be, and I think this is likely so, that the Maharaji and benevolent guardian races have already cleared so much of this. They have already taken back the crystalline networks, and there's many of them. And I'm sure that this last surface programming within the mainstream media, I'm sure that that is on its last legs. At least energetically we are addressing it now, but soon it's really going to come out into public awareness, isn't it? Particularly in relation to what's happening in the administration of the United States, with what's happening, with what's being released, declassified in regards to Hillary Clinton's previous conduct, with Obama, the FBI. This has all been declassified in the last couple of days. So you can see how this amazing unfoldment, this process is occurring on multi-dimensional levels. And it is a seamless harmony, though chaotic to observe from the outer surface. It is a seamless harmony to watch unfold. So bringing your attention to the center of this code once again, and inhale it through the frontal lobe to the crown there, to the pineal gland. We're just about there, guys. Doing really well. Inhale, exhale all the way out the bottom of your feet to the earth core, and then feel the code and the power of the energy intent behind that radiating to all of those temple networks, to all technological antennas, and all electromagnetic frequencies as I give this command. It is commanded in the name of divine love and through the power of the golden light of wisdom and divine mind that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be activated on all people on the planet, both the surface and internally, in higher measure of intensity, infusing the grace and benevolence of the infusion of new neurological cords, soul programming, oversoul programming from the avatar and monad identities of all involved, that all lower versions and operational distortions associated with past cataclysms and race interferences are permanently cleared in the best way possible for all involved in alignment with all divine processes and evolutionary unfoldment in alignment with their higher self now. Ta Asian Tadue. Wow, so this one's actually got a lot more zing in it, as it were, than the previous transmutation. So maybe a lot of the healing work has been done. I mean, there are so many beings and people working on this right now, unbeknownst to the majority of the population. As it was, unbeknownst to those that are doing some of this work. Of course, prior to that, there has always been a benevolent heart of service looking after humanity over the millennia. And it's just unfolding into the outer surface now, so we're becoming aware of just how much there has been done. But wow, we're really be giving the opportunity to assimilate this grace right now, I tell you. All right, still some assimilation going on there, guys, but we're going to bring attention outwardly again as that subsides, and I think this is the last clearing. Please don't quote me on that. I know we've been through a lot. You've probably got somewhere to go soon. I appreciate your continuation, your support, your dedication to this process, that I think we are achieving a lot more than what might appear. So focusing to the center of this code, once again, draw it into the frontal lobe there, to the center of the brain and pineal gland, breathing it down to the chest space. Once more, breathing in your sincere intent to assist in this process. A few deep breaths, infusing it with your own energy as a gift of transmutational power. It all helps. Then inhale and exhale it all the way down at the bottom of the feet to the earth's core. And this time, see the code holographically represented right through the earth, right through the atmosphere, through the soil and fields through which all agriculture is being made. Of course, the atmosphere and air that we're breathing. Primarily these things, isn't it? The rivers, of course, the ocean, lakes, waterways, subterranean water wells, and energy basins, as it were, as I give this command. It is commanded in the name of divine love and through the power of the violet light that the morphogenetic transmutation, renovation, and renewal code be used to permanently clear the source of all distorted energies associated with all damages that have been incurred via chemical warfare and that have caused any sickness, illness, biological deterioration, distortion, blockage, or inhibition in any life form that it has reached in the best way possible for all involved in alignment with all higher selves and higher evolutionary processes. Now, Ta Ashen Tadue. Wow, I've just started to heat up a lot, interestingly enough. That is very interesting. So one thing about the chemical body, for example, who's had some intense whiskey before or something? And what happens? Straight away begin to heat up, don't you? Inside. So the chemical energy, one thing that occurs is that you can very rapidly heat up, which is of course a translation of electrical energy when the nervous system, for example, when you're exercising, that energy is transferred, isn't it? That fire, power in the electrical nervous system is transferred outwardly into chemical motion, which mobilizes energy, and then of course you begin to heat up, don't you? So I find it quite curious that there's an instantaneous elevation of body temperature. I'm not sure if you guys are feeling that, but I certainly am, at the delivery of that specific command related to chemical warfare and any energy related to that. Still a bit of transmuting there, certainly a lot swirling within the body. So just as that completes, bringing your attention outwardly. And once more, troopers, we're doing well here. Inhale, draw the code through the frontal lobe, the center of the brain, the pineal gland there. Feel it holographically reverberating in all your energy centers, and then inhale as you draw an energy and exhale all the way down to the earth core. Once again, see it as it hits the earth core, electrically, magnetically vibrating through the earth environment, hitting all locations from underneath the root of all trees, all bushes, all plant life, waking up through the paws of all animals sitting upon the ground, the feet of all people walking upon the ground, electrifying through the atmosphere in the form of electricity as I give this command. It is commanded in the name of divine love and through the benevolent grace of the golden light of divine mind and wisdom, that the golden code of clarity, wisdom, and knowledge be used to activate and facilitate the reconnection of all energies that had been blocked, distorted, or cut off, inhibited in any way through the use of biological agents such as those used in chemical biological warfare, and that all of these energies are restored and returned to all life forms on the earth with the highest intent of biological regeneration, restoring them back to the original organic divine blueprint and highest operational working order in alignment with their higher self and higher evolutionary process now. Ta Asia and Tadue. A lot of heat with that one. All right, so thank God, as it were. That was the last activation. This is a huge session, I acknowledge that. Now we're going to move through an assimilation meditation. For those troopers that want to stay on with me, I hope you do, I hope you can. It will provide an empowerment to all that has taken place, if you can immediately do that. I did mention I will put this webinar up again, so it'll be there for ongoing use. Nevertheless, now is the time, right, as it said. So we're going to get underway for about 30 minutes. You're welcome to join me in this. And entirely focus your attention internally. Take this action. Push your comfort zone a little further. Surrender a little further. And really set your intent to assimilate all that has been achieved in the highest, most beneficial way. I'll let you know when we're done. 30 minutes from now. So be it. All right, team. If you're still with me, just begin to bring your awareness back outwardly again. It's a huge session. I appreciate everyone for staying on. It's a great contribution. I really appreciate your help. I'll be able to upload that, and obviously in 2 sections, right? Because we've been through it. I didn't realize it would take so long. 3.5 hours. So the first one's really quite a comprehensive education, isn't it? Which really does help us to understand that it's just not as simple as people are stupid, or it's a very complex situation. And although we get frustrated at times and feel like lashing out, perhaps it is very frustrating. I've been going through this for the last 15 years, but you have to eventually arrive at the place where you just let go and allow things to unfold as they do. So thank you once again. You've been very helpful. Your contribution is known, and I'll upload this in 2 different parts: the educational component and the clearing as well. So others will be able to use this as the future proceeds. I think a lot of people will benefit from this. I think we've really achieved something useful today. So for those of you that want to continue on, of course, there's more opportunities there. A bunch of us are on the Lightning Path. If you go to humanmetamorphosis.com, you can get information on that. And we are really getting stuck into this process on a personal level. It's one thing to have the knowledge. It's another thing to apply it. We're focused on applying it in the Lightning Path. So you're welcome to join. And till then, stay joyful, stay peaceful, and constructive too, right? Thanks again, and I'll see you again next time.